I just played one of the most stressful chess games I have played in recent memory. I mean, this was a 90 move, 10-minute game on chess.com at the 1800 level. I checkmated my opponent with less than 1 second on the clock, zero point 0.8 seconds remaining. All right, my heart was pounding so fast. We got to take a look at this, okay? So I'm playing with the black pieces. And d4, d5, f4, guess what? I'm already out of my prep. I have been studying other openings, but I don't face f4 very often, so I haven't quite gotten to it yet. So I don't really know what to do. I just develop my pieces, and here I figure, okay, let's trade light squared bishops and put all of my pawns on light squares, like this. So get rid of my light squared bishop and just have this little pyramid of light squares, or light squared pawns. We continued developing our pieces and castle. Now I felt I did pretty good throughout the opening, and I think my opponent did not play very well because, I mean, his bishop is kind of asleep. It's stuck on the same color of his pawns, and I'm not sure how it's going to get into the game. Therefore, I don't know how this rook is getting into the game, and I'm not sure what white is doing, aside from throwing the knight into e5, which he does. Slaps that knight into the center of the board, taking up my space. I was not happy about that. I had to deal with that knight for so long. Well, not really, but it's in my face, and I can't take it with my knight because I get forked, and that is not how this 90-move game ended. And I can't take with the bishop because, well, he opens up his rook. The knight is coming in. E4 maybe, and the dark squared bishop, and then the other rook as well, doubling on the F file. And my knight is going to have to get booted around. And this is just not great. I didn't want to deal with this. So, and also sorry if the pieces are laggy a bit. Not sure why. My computer is upset that I have a bunch of software running. So he jumps his knight in, and I start to stretch my legs on the queen side, pushing c5 so I can breathe a little bit. And he plays a few slow moves with a3 and h3. I just bring my rook and open up that file for myself, so I've got at least, something I'm looking at. But here I come up with the idea, okay, my position's a little awkward and cramped. So what I need to do is cocoon and emerge as a beautiful butterfly. So that's what I do here. I make room for my knight, the knight to go to f8, and I want the knight on f6 to drop back to d7 so that I can kick his knight away with f6 and then expand in the center with e5. And that's exactly what happened, actually. So I have no idea what he's doing, by the way. Rook f2, I don't know. So I bring my knight back, and then knight 6 to d7. And here I don't take with the knight because this is what we wanted to avoid. Now look at how sad my pieces are, and they're not getting out anytime soon. And white has all the activity here. So I did not want to deal with this. I mean, I'm sure, the computer finds something. But why do that when you could kick the knight out with a pawn? So I play f6, kick out the knight. The knight's got to go back. And here I can play e5 right away. So I just strike. Because guess what? He decided to push all of his kingside pawns with all of these pieces asleep in the corner. Their alarm clocks didn't go off this morning. So I expand in the center, and it all explodes. It like, literally, like, what? 4 pawns came off the board, and a pair of knights. All gone. And what results is I get to pin his rook to his king. Because guess what? Oh, I hit my mic. Because guess what? You weaken your position, pushing all those freaking pawns, and now I get the pin your rook as a reward for opening up the position. Also, remember when I said I don't know what rook f2 is here? I don't know what rook f2 is. That move ended up like being the tactical advantage for me after the position opened up because the rook is on the same diagonal as the king. So I just take the rook, and I am cleanly up in exchange here. And I decide to start unraveling my pieces into the beautiful butterfly they deserve to become. So I just activate all my pieces. I hit his queen here, and he's got to move it. And here I decide, okay, let me just simplify. I am going to get 2 pieces for the rook. And here I did have to calculate that after rook takes f1, rook f1, rook e3, that queen b8 check was not dangerous because my back rank is actually kind of weak, believe it or not, which we kind of see a bit later. But that check doesn't work, and we see it happening in the game. So after I get the 2 pieces for the rook, I drop my queen back and just block the check. And the thing that was important to make sure of was that the queen was defended by the rook, which it is. Yay. So he grabs a pawn. You know, I give a check, and I give more checks. And at this point, I have like a minute 30 on the clock, so I'm not finding the best moves necessarily. I'm just throwing checks, hoping that I can trade queens because that will make the win a lot simpler. Because I won't have to look for mate. I'm just going to take all the pawns. So I go for a queen trade, and I get it. And here I actually throw the rooks off the board too. I could move my rook and keep his on the board, but why would I do that when I've got these weaknesses, right? So I just trade rooks as well. I figure, okay, I've got a minute on the clock, and he has 1 pawn for the knight. I have to at least draw this, right? Even with a minute. I'm going to try and win, obviously, but if I draw, that's okay too, because I have a minute left. So I bring my king, and because I am low on time, I don't play this the most accurately, and I end up getting my knight trapped in the corner, which is kind of funny. So what I end up having to do here, again with like 40 seconds, is just sack the knight for the pawn on c3 into this pawn endgame, which is winning. I blundered a draw, though. It's winning, but I blundered a draw because I allowed this. I allowed this. With 30 seconds, I decided not to take the pawn. I don't know why. Or not to push this pawn with check. Both of those are winning. I don't know why I didn't do that. Instead, I went here. I'm like, okay, I got to bring my king so I can promote my pawn because I'm an idiot. So I push my pawn, and it's simultaneous promotion. And this is just a draw. But here's the thing. If you're playing over the board with like some friends and you got clocks and this happens, I mean, I'm the kind of guy where I will offer you a draw in this position because like it's a draw, you know, and just because one person has 4 minutes and one person has 30 seconds, I'm like, okay, if it's a tournament situation, I get it. Because, you know, you're really looking for those points. And I guess online you're trying to climb rating as well. But I'm also, sometimes it gets a bit out of hand where it's like very clearly a draw. And they will just flag me because I have way less time than them and they refuse draws. That's just my little side tangent for the moment. Are you guys upset about that too? Does that ever happen to you? Or you like take their queen and they get so mad they leave a 10-minute game with 6 minutes on the clock and you have to wait that entire 6 minutes to go by until you collect your rating and then report them? Because I do that. Anyway, I just start giving a bunch of checks because guess what? I still promoted first. So I get to give checks, right? So I give a bunch of checks. I try to repeat moves here. I try to get this position 3 times, but he refused to draw. Again, like he wants the points. He thinks that he's going to flag me. And here, you're about to see a move that is beyond terrible. But also look at my clock. I've got 12 seconds, and I played this move in 0.3 seconds. I was just giving checks. That was my mindset. I blundered my queen, which is really funny. But what's even funnier is that he didn't take it. We are both 1800 and he has 3 minutes on the clock and he did not take my queen. It's fully just a free queen, but he didn't take it because you know why? He played this move in a second. He's got 3 minutes on the clock and he played this move in 1 second. That's another thing that's kind of annoying about online chess specifically, I feel like, is that sometimes people will just play so fast. And if you're low on time, they're not going to try and play the best moves or like beat you. They're just going to play super quickly and try to run you out of your time. But if he had spent like 10 seconds, he would have just taken the queen. But no, 3 seconds. If he took more than a second, he would have seen that. But he didn't take it. So, so I took his queen, and I won the game. Here I had 10 seconds to win this game, which is actually pretty difficult because he's got a pawn there. So you got to not let that pawn promote, which I don't. I quickly just give a check and put my queen in front of the pawn. Then I basically pre-move bringing my king until I can win the pawn. And then here I have 7 seconds, but I've drilled this enough against a computer where, you know, I can pre-move this. And on move 90, I checkmate the white king with 0.8 seconds on the clock. Woo! Okay, how about that for a chess game, yeah? 90 moves! 90 moves! That's gotta be one of the longest games I've played in a minute. Sometimes they get up to 100, but I mean, not usually. Anyway, I'm just ranting at this point. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you. I appreciate you. If you liked it, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Leave comments below for suggestions or requests for future videos. And I hope to see you here again soon. Have a great day.